And going back further, you said you enjoyed your time at Bangor.
Yeah. I suppose I was learning new things. The first year was not terribly good. I didn't have a car then, and I didn't do it all at once. Much. Once I got a car and was able to get around and explore the Welsh countryside and the beaches and the mountains, life was transformed.
Yes. I hadn't realised you had a car until you told me yesterday.
Yeah.
That would make a huge difference.
I had, the only way I could get one at that time was that students weren't allowed cars in Bangor, unless you lived out of Bangor itself, so I got digs in Telebont.
So how did Dave Vickers have one in the car park at Emery's?
Well, the rules may have changed later on.
It was a bit later.
Yeah, I mean, there was one chap there, something like Philip Loxton, his name was, and he was always a bit of an eccentric and a rebel, but not a destructive rebel. He just didn't want to conform, and his reaction to not being allowed a car was he bought a horse and trap. He used to go around in that. Parking outside the Students' Union.
I came close to that when I nearly got banned for speeding.
Yeah.
I had thoughts like that. Ooh, the lights changed. What are your fondest memories of Bangor?
Remember going up Snowdon for the first time. Remember the first time lying on Aberfrow Beach. I think that was my favourite of the beaches.
I thought you didn't like beaches.
Yeah, well, I don't that much, but I was with a crowd. I mean, I never go there by myself. I did occasionally manage to get a woman there.
We won't go into that.
Well, not much to go into. It's better to leave it hanging. I suppose there are all sorts of double entendres associated with that, but we'll leave it alone.
I was thinking that. And then there was Scout and Guide, which seems to have been a big part of your life.
Yeah, it was. It was only because I stayed at Mrs. Hughes for the last 2 years of my first degree, and Paul Watson appeared as a fellow student at Mrs. Hughes in my second year, and we became quite friendly. And when I left for a year and then came back, he still had a year there, and I was looking for somewhere to share. I felt a bit more independent, and I contacted Paul and said, do you fancy it? And we found this cottage at the back of the Four Crosses, is it? Top end of Minnow Bridge.
Don't know.
Wind view. And yeah, a wonderful time there. I remember we had a housewarming party, so this would be after we were in for a couple of weeks, so it would probably be the end of October, and at the beginning of November they have the I think it was 7-yearly referendum on whether they wanted the county to stay wet or dry on Sundays.
Oh yes.
And the morning after the party, Paul, in clearing up, that there were about 100 odd bottles of beer that the people had brought. So Paul just stuck them out in the grass outside the front door. And that very day, somebody had actually walked past all this to deliver a leaflet asking us to oppose drinking on Sundays.
Yeah, people used to drive away outside the
Oh, I know.
area, didn't they?
Yeah, we did.
To get a drink.
Yeah, Denbighshire was the nearest wet county on a Sunday. We used to a few times to go up to Capelgarmon, which is just off the A5. There was a lovely little pub there. Can't remember what it was called.